Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to do some pickled garlic, which is very Asian. The pickled garlic is a two-step process. First is a vinegar brine, or salt brine, and then you do a soy sauce brine. Okay, first thing you want to do with your garlic to get prepared is obviously take it out of the packaging. Now you want nice firm cloves with no sprouts. This will take, for a quart of garlic, approximately 9 to 10 heads. My jar is half of it. My jar is 600 milliliters, so we'll figure it out. We just want to separate the cloves, and we're going to cover them with boiling water, or not quite boiling, and that'll make the skins easier to get off. And then we are going to just trim them up, remove the stem and the root end. And then pack them in the jar with the brine. Once you've soaked your garlic cloves for about half an hour, it could go a little longer, just take them out of the water, trim the root end off, and they should peel like a breeze. The peel should just slide right off of them. And we're going to peel all of these guys, put them in our jar, and add our brine. You do want to rinse them, just to make sure there aren't any bits of peel. Oops. Don't throw the peel in the colander. Okay, now I'll let you go do something else while I peel all this garlic. Our garlic is all peeled and rinsed and ready for the jar. Now, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of people that are yelling at their screens saying 600 mils is just less than 2/3 of a quart. Yeah, I looked it up. Quart is 946 mils, so 600 is slightly less than 2/3. So there we have all our garlic in our jar. There's just slightly under 9 heads of garlic. And it will depend on the size of your heads, how many you will need. But for 600 mils, 9 smallish heads. So next thing we're going to do is add our brine. And it is a cold brine. So our brine is equal parts water, and you want to use bottled water or distilled water. You don't want tap water because you're just adding extra minerals there that you don't want. And some salt. Now you can use regular white vinegar or rice vinegar, which I used the rice vinegar. Now we're going to seal this up, and it's going to go in a dark cupboard for 7 days. And then we're going to do the next step, which is we drain off the vinegar brine and we do a soy sauce brine, and that will take 2 weeks in a dark cupboard. All right, today marks 7 days since I did the garlic. So after 7 days of the garlic being stored in a cool, dark place, I'm not sure why it has to be dark. On all the things I've looked up, I either find no explanation, or it's basically referring to fresh, unpeeled garlic, and that's to prevent mold. You want it in a cool, dark place to prevent it going moldy. So I really am unsure as to why it needs to be in a dark place, but apparently it does. So we're going to make our soy brine now, and this one will be a hot brine that we pour in after we drain the vinegar brine off. So 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2/3 cup soy sauce, half a cup of water, and again you want to avoid chlorinated or water that has too much mineral in it, so this is well water. And then we want, I'll get my vinegar jar open, 1/3 of a cup of vinegar. There we go. Now this is going to be more than I need for my little jar, because this is basically for a quart jar. But we will have a little left over, that's okay. I'm just going to whisk the sugar in a bit. Now we're going to bring this to a boil. And then we're going to drain off our vinegar brine and pour in our soy brine. Alright, so when you pull your garlic out of the cupboard, don't be surprised if it is gone green or blue. And apparently not a lot of research has been done on why garlic does that. It is still good, it tastes the same. It is apparently just a reaction between the sulfur and the enzymes in the garlic. It does not change the flavor, it does not damage its goodness at all. I mean, it's still good, it hasn't gone bad, and it still tastes the same. So now our brine is getting up to the boil. We are going to strain off the vinegar brine. Yes, that smells very, very strongly of garlic, which isn't surprising because it is a jar full of garlic. Alright, our brine has boiled. I am just going to pour it into something with a spout so it's easier to pour into our jar of garlic. Make sure your garlic is all well down in there, because we do want to make sure it's all completely covered. There we go. And I'm just watching. Want to make sure there's, oops, just popped right up there. If there's any air bubbles in there, I do want them to go away. Yeah, there's a lot of air bubbles, so you don't want to use a metal implement to try and get rid of your air bubbles. You want something plastic or wooden. So I'm just going to use a chopstick. You'll just go down the sides and try and release any air bubbles that are in there. Okay, so now we can seal it back up. And this one will go back in the cupboard for 14 days. And then we'll give our pickled garlic a try. Here is another item for our Korean side dishes. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but they're called Banchan. So Banchan literally translates to side dish, or side dishes. It's the collective name for all the little dishes that go along with any Korean meal. So today what we're going to do is, and I actually use this for Japanese meals as well, pickled radishes. And they're pickled pink radishes, so not the daikon, although you could use the same for the daikon. I have one bunch of radishes, so I'm only going to use a 500 ml jar, and that's probably going to be even too big. So half a cup of water, half a cup of white vinegar, you could use rice vinegar, and a half a cup of raw sugar. And you could use white sugar if you preferred. So let's get started here. I'm going to clean up the radishes and slice them. We're going to get our brine going. Now that all our radishes are sliced, we are going to combine our ingredients for the pickle brine in a small pot. And then bring it up to a boil and let it simmer for 3 to 4 minutes, just to make sure that the sugar's all dissolved. You may want to whisk it every now and then, just to make sure the sugar has dissolved. So just give it a good stir. And you want a pinch of salt too, I almost forgot. Just a little pinch of sea salt. There we go, not too much. And then stir it. Now we're going to bring it to a boil and get the sugar to dissolve. Now that we have our pickling brine dissolved, the sugar dissolved in it, and you'll notice it's a golden color, but that's because I used the raw sugar. If you want it clear, you'd have to use the white sugar. So now I'm going to fill our jar with the radish slices. This will last. This is a refrigerator pickle. It will last several weeks in the fridge. And apparently, I always use it right away, like only let it pickle for a few hours usually when I'm doing it for Japanese food. But I've heard that the taste is best after 48 hours. Don't know if I'll have time to let it go that long, but we will see. So now we're just going to pour our brine in. And close our jar up. You do want to sterilize your jar. The cleaner it is, the longer things will last. Now I'm just going to leave it on the counter until it cools because it is quite warm. So once we put it in the fridge, we want it at room temperature. Oops, I missed one. Mine. Here's our soy pickled garlic. Now, it's been 17 days since I put it in the soy brine. We are going to give it a taste. I can see already that the garlic is still blue. It's lovely. Let me get one of these out of here. I think I'm going to slice it a little bit. I don't want to throw a whole garlic clove in my mouth. Get it over there where you can see it. Now, I have been told that pickled garlic is wonderful. I have never tried it before, so I'm just going to try a little bit. You can definitely taste the soy. You can taste the garlic. It's not as pungent as raw garlic. It is crisp though. It's actually quite nice. Yes, that is great. So now we're going to put it in the refrigerator and it's going to go with our Korean dinner in a few days. So that's our jar of finished pink pickled radishes. Pickled pink radishes. I've already taken some out for dinner. So today is a little different. Our focus is on the banchan. Again, my apologies. I cannot possibly ever pronounce that properly. But that is the Korean side dishes. And I have some pickled daikon, which I did not make. Some soy pickled garlic, which I did. Pink pickled radishes, which I did make. Sweet and sour radish, which I did not make. And kimchi, which I did make. So I made 3 out of 5. It is my version of Korean barbecue chicken. I will provide a link for it down below to my previous video. So that's my effort at making Korean banchan. And again, I apologize for the way I pronounce it. Basically, it is side dishes that go with your meal. And we have a few today, several of which I made, a couple of which I didn't. I really, really like how the garlic turned out, pickled in the soy. And I do love my kimchi. The pink radishes are wonderful. They are a little different than the ones I make when I make Japanese food. So I hope you liked the video. I hope you try the recipes. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and just watch. I appreciate everyone that watches, likes, subscribes, leaves a comment. I'll see you again soon with a new recipe. Thank you so much for watching.